What's up, guys? Good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Roma 1, Milan 1. I think we played a phenomenal game, but against these teams in these seasons, there is just nothing you can do about. I have never seen a more luckier team than Milan this season. It's something unattainable. Their ass this season is something unattainable. I mean, I said this yesterday on Instagram, if I had 1% of Allegri's luck this season, I would be a billionaire. It's insane. How the fucking hell did this game not end 4-0? I mean, in general, how did we not win this game? We need to be better at burying chances, of course, absolutely. That's been our problem ever since the start of the season. But this team is so lucky, and I'm sorry, there are gonna be Milan fans watching this which go, stop whinging. Lads, you need to agree, because otherwise you haven't watched yesterday's game, and in general you just haven't watched yourself this season. If it wasn't for your goalkeeper, Milan would be 8th this season. They are aberrant to watch. They are absolutely aberrant to watch. They played an aberrant game yesterday. I don't even know how they scored that goal. And whenever they score first, you know, Allegri, he parks the bus. I'm very surprised that we managed to score, because normally against these teams, if they score first, you never win. And you never even get anything from the game. So I think I'm very proud of my team yesterday. I think we played a phenomenal game. I think you asphyxiated Milan for 80 minutes. There was just that 10-15 minutes in the second half, at the beginning of the second half, where they came out a bit. But other than that, you absolutely... I don't know how you describe yesterday's game. You asphyxiated them perfectly. You created... I could list you at least 39 chances that we had yesterday. Malan's few chances. I don't know. I don't know how we haven't won yesterday's game. We definitely deserve to win. I don't know how we managed to only get 1 point out of 6 against them this season. I think we definitely deserved the win yesterday, and we definitely did not deserve to lose. Maybe not a win at San Siro, but definitely a point. So yeah, it's those seasons. It's those seasons where the god of football goes, Milan this season need to be this lucky, and you can do nothing against these seasons, against these teams. There is nothing you can do. There's simply nothing you can do. It's the season that Milan need to be lucky. It's the season that Milan need to get in the Champions League using their luck, and they're gonna get it. Look, speaking about the game, I think, as I said before, I genuinely have nothing to say, because any other game against any other team, you'd have won 3-0. You would have won 3-0 yesterday. So there isn't much that I can say against us yesterday. There really isn't. Yes, the problem of burying chances is something that always needs to be repeated. But even yesterday, it's just the day. It's the day and the team you played against. Because I'm convinced that any other team, if you played like that, you would have won 3-0, 2-0 maybe. But you would have definitely won. And the fact that you concede that goal is just, the proof that everything needs to go their way. Because Ndika could have easily cleared that. A corner kick out of nowhere, a cross out of nowhere, their only chance, and they managed to head it in. And you know what I think? People will go, there are going to be Milan fans watching this which go, you've survived and you literally played like this 3 years with Mourinho. And I think, look, part of me agrees. I mean, there's definitely an element of hypocrisy, because I loved Mourinho. I loved Mourinho with us. Of course, everyone has their own perception about this. So you're kind of going, well, you loved the Mourinho playing like that with your team. Now that Allegri plays like this with us, you're against this. I think there's a very big difference. I think this Milan team can play way better, because it has got very good players. And it's definitely a better team than what Mourinho had back at Roma. So I think I'm not saying you can't play like this, But this team has elements of playing much better. It can play much better. It's got players to do and play much better. And it can be a better team because you've got Modric, you've got Pulisic, you've got Leao, you've got Menyan, you've got Salamakers, who's a good player, Nkunku's a good player. You know, this is Rabiot is an immense player. This Milan team is an incredible team when it comes to individualism. The way it's set out by its manager, you just want to rip your eyeballs out. And can I just say, this season particularly, I'm normally not very bothered by the two, by Milan, by Inter. I'm not very bothered by them. Like growing up, I am, is always like. My rivals are not them. My rivals are Juventus, Napoli, and Lazio. This season's Milan is something that makes me want to throw up. There isn't one player apart from Modric that I can say, I like you. I like you. And just to close the circle, Menyan. I have never seen a more son of a bitch than Mike Menyan. Great goalkeeper, but the level of presumption of that man, wasting time, the referee saying to him, get in the goal to save the penalty, and bro goes like this to the referee, who do you think you are? Like the level of presumption of that man, at the end of the game, has the decency to go in front of the microphones and go, oh well, what could Bartesaghi do with his arm? Mate, are you under effects of cocaine? Because how can you question if that's a penalty or not? You're lucky we didn't get that second penalty. But how can you say, oh, where did Bartesaghi need to put his arms? Like, you're either under cocaine or you're a son of a bitch. The level of presumption of that goalkeeper is something like fucking hell. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Going back to that penalty. First penalty is clear as hell. I don't know why people are questioning it. You're lucky that you didn't get that second penalty because I think that's a penalty that 50% of referees give and 50% of referees don't give. I personally think that's not a penalty because Pulisic's arm isn't wide. It's like that and Wesley deliberately kicks in on his arm. So I don't think that's a penalty. But I don't think that's a penalty because I'm an honest guy. I've seen way worse get given. Absolutely way worse than given. So you should be very lucky that that wasn't a penalty because I think there were games where that's a penalty. And there have been way worse incidents than that. And number two, if that penalty happened at San Siro for Milan, they would have given it. 100%. 100%. So, look, my rage today is all about the fact that we never won this game. That we just deserved to win this and didn't. Because I said in the match preview, am I happy with the draw? Looking back at how this game developed, I'm taking a draw. It is very important that we didn't lose this game. And I think we played a great game. So looking back at the game and how the game developed, I'm taking a point. But I do think that all the cards were available yesterday to win this game. In any other game, you would have beat them. And but I take a draw. Look, we've been very bad at the beginning of the season against these teams. Look, we lost all big and direct encounters in the first half of the season. Now we're starting off with a draw. It could have been worse because we could have lost this game. And when that guy scored the goal for them, I'm like, you're never going to get this game back because Allegri is exactly this. Like one header, one set piece out of nowhere, and then park the bus. So we're very lucky that we even got a point in this game because that's what Allegri bases his philosophy on. So I take a draw. But going into the game, I wouldn't have taken a draw because I think this was a game that you had to win. Inter away, Napoli away. Those are games and big games where I can definitely accept a draw. But we're third. Look, we keep the grind. There is nothing I can say to these players. These players played a great game yesterday. They fought for 90 minutes, battered Milan for 80 minutes. And I'm just proud of the performance. I'm proud of the way we set up yesterday. I'm proud of how we kept the rhythm, the intensity going. And then I also feel like you look at how and what players ended yesterday's game on both the two teams. And that's where one of the big difference for me between Roma and Milan is this season. It's two completely different projects, of course. Milan and Allegri are instant victory, instant success. Gasperini is a building project with young players. But it's probably that little step which, as of today, proves the difference between us and them. Because yesterday we ended the game in attack with Robinho Vaz, who's 18 years old, Venturino, who is 18 years old, and Wesley, basically, who is another guy who's 19 years old. And Milan subbed in Pulisic. That's my point. I think it's clear what we want to do. It's clear that one of the big aims of this project is to rejuvenate the team. And the way we finished, and with the players that we finished yesterday's game, you've got the proof that this project is moving forward. And it's maybe that little, it's that step which is why you haven't won this game. Because if you had subs like Milan had yesterday, ready subs, fresh subs, who can make an instant impact, you would have probably won this game. And this is not a criticism to Venturino, to Vaz. It's not. These players need time. We've decided to operate this project. I'm very happy about it. But you can't expect Vaz or Venturino to get thrown in and score. It happened with Arena in the Coppa Italia, but it's not gonna happen every single time. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Honestly, I'm happy. Really, I'm happy. I'm happy with our manager. I'm happy with our players. There is nothing that I can say to these players. They're playing an incredible season. They're giving it their best. As I always say, through the ups and downs, there are going to be bad games. There are going to be good games. At the end of the day, we're basically at the end of January and we're third in the table. And I think nobody, absolutely no human being would have put us in this position by February. So I'm proud. I'm proud, and I can only be proud. Okay, individual performances. I think my man of the match is Ghilardi. Ghilardi yesterday in his pocket had Leao, Salamakers and Nkunku all together. My man of the match, without a doubt, the exponential growth that Ghilardi has had in the last 3 games is something exceptional. What a player he will become if he keeps this tangent going. What a player, what a game. Absolutely dominated that Milan attack. By the way, speaking about Salamakers, because I definitely didn't forget. Sometimes I think you need to act tough, and you can only act tough if you can withstand pressure and tension and remain tough. Salamakers behaved like a lion in November at San Siro. Yesterday, whenever he got booed and whenever he heard those boos, that lion transformed into a squirrel. His legs were shaking to the point that his manager took him off after 45 minutes. Wesley gave him a headache that big, sent him back to the asylum. And that's my point. These players that act all tough, then look like squirrels whenever that toughness plays against them. So, yeah, Salamakers yesterday did absolutely nothing. Wesley and Ghilardi yesterday got Salamakers by his head and literally shook him like this and threw him away and got subbed off after 45 minutes. Going back to the game. Defense played great. I think Manu played a great game yesterday. He got injured and he's out for a month. Look, seeing him walk out of the pitch yesterday, I thought something in me said that it was going to be worse than this. So frankly speaking, 1 month is not a lot. It's not a lot, and I thought, seeing his conditions, that it was going to be a longer stop. It's not a lot because we've got El Enawi, and trust me, El Enawi in this period, it's time to shine. He's coming from a great AFCON, and I'm ready to see El Enawi take Manu's spot for the next month. The next month will fly by. Trust me, it will. We've got games after games after games that, yes, he will miss quite a few, but he's gonna be back sooner than ever. And then up front, look, I think Milan could have probably scored that chance where Indika kind of chipped it to him, but he's a completely different player to Dovbyk and Ferguson in terms of movements, in terms of feet, in terms of technique. So again, one thing that I would say with Milan is that the fact that he scored 2 goals in 2 minutes against Torino in his debut is probably gave us false. In a sense, there's part of me that goes, I hope he doesn't score a brace in his debut, because then everyone will start expecting so much from him. And I think he could have definitely done better in that chance yesterday, but I'm like, he won't score in every game. He won't score in every game. I think I could probably name 2 strikers in the world that score on a regular basis, and those are Kane and Haaland. Strikers in general don't score in every game they play. So the fact that he scored a brace against Torino doesn't mean that every game that Milan starts, he will reproduce that performance. And we're speaking against a team that lost 6-0 to Como, just to give you an example. So, Milan are an organized team. The last thing you can say to Milan, you can say whatever you want, lucky in that, but they're organized. They're compact, so it's not easy to score, and he's had his chances. I think Milan played a good game. Sule in these games always ghosts, and I will continue saying this. Call me repetitive, but Sule and Dybala don't play well together. I've said this in every single game they've played together. Sule and Dybala don't play well together because, again, whoever needs to play in the wrong side doesn't do anything because he needs to use his weak foot. So I've been saying this ever since De Rossi tried both of them when we lost that game in August 2024 against Empoli at home. The first time De Rossi tried Dybala and Sule together, I said, these two can't play together. They're the same exact player. You can't. They're not good together. They limit each other. It's much better to start Dybala or Sule, and whether it's Pellegrini, whether it's a new signing, whether it's Pizzilli, I don't know, you can choose, but not Sule and Dybala together. No, one of them is completely and utterly wasted if they need to play together. But yeah, look, I'm happy. People would have probably expected me to rage. The only rage that I can have is the fact that we didn't win this game, honestly. We're third. Napoli lost 3-0. Of course, Juventus winning means that Juventus get close to you. This season's competitiveness in the league is something incredible to see. I think, honestly, I would have put Bologna as threats, but Bologna in the last period have been like Lecce, so we have a 13 gap from Bologna. Honestly, I would exclude Bologna. Atalanta is 8 points behind you, which is a lot, and you do need to play against them at home. But I'm not in a position to exclude Atalanta because Atalanta lately have played well. And, 8 points is a lot, but let's say they beat you at the Olimpico, and that's just a 5-point gap, then you're going to lose more points. So I'm not going to exclude Atalanta, even though they're still far away from you. Como for me is play great, have been playing great in the last month. Very important win, that 1-0 win against them a month ago, I think it was. That was probably one of the most important wins of the season. I still think Como in the Champions League won't happen, but you can't exclude them because they're 3 points behind you. For me, the biggest danger is Juve. And at time of speaking, I would put Juve ahead of Napoli too, because Napoli have got so many injuries that Juve, at time of speaking, will get ahead of Napoli if they continue like this. I still think that you need a miracle to get in that top 4. I still think you do. But we go one step at a time. We're third. Same points as Napoli, yes, but we're third because of goal difference, and we're going to take that. 4 points behind Milan. I think it's very important that we didn't lose yesterday's game. But, yeah. one step at a time. Where we will be at the end of the season, we will be. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Como is good, but they just came from the Serie B. Yeah, I mean, they just came from the Serie B, but they also just spent 300 million euros. So, I mean, if any other team would have spent 300 million euros, they'd be challenging for the league title. I think with Como, it's like they're underrated. They play very good football. They are a newly promoted team a few years ago, absolutely. But people forget the amount of money that Como spent. Like, people do forget this. And you know, people don't look at the amount of money that they spent because they haven't signed massive names. Whether you sign massive names or not is irrelevant. You need to sign who the manager wants. And Como have spent 300 million euros exactly like Fabregas wanted, signing players that Fabregas has deliberately picked. So, you know, yes, they haven't signed with the amount of money. You don't look at the amount of money that they spent because they haven't signed immense names. But they've spent 300 million euros. So I also feel like, yes, they got promoted in the league 2 years ago. Yes, they're still a little team. But any other team that spends 300 million euros needs to challenge for the league title. Like, that's an obligation. So I'm surprised because maybe I didn't think that the rapidity of this Como project would work, but at the same time I'm not, because they've spent the most money out of all teams. Okay, guys, I'm going to catch you tomorrow with the Panathinaikos match preview. Last Europa League game, very important one. We need to get in that top 8. Athens on Thursday. So I'll catch you tomorrow for the match preview. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed yesterday's game. And yeah, I will speak to you very soon. 121 likes on this video would be amazing. Love you. Speak to you soon. Simo out.